Hi everybody, it's Sandy and welcome back to my channel. This is Windows on the World Day here on my blog, and I'm going to be showing you how these Windows on the World stamps work along with these dies. They're from Art Impressions, who you may know as the Funny People stamp company, but they also do these really loose, beautiful drawings in squares. And they have a whole bunch of different designs, but I got these dies to go with them. And there's the plain one and then there's the fancy one, but if you use the fancy one you need to cut a hole for the window, and guess what? This one works perfectly to fit the other window, the fancy window. All you have to do is snip these little pieces out. If you were to leave the bars in there, they don't line up with the bars on the other window, so it doesn't make sense to have both sets. So you just trim them out and that will fit perfectly to make a hole in the front of your card for the other window. So now I can put score tape on the back of it. Score tape is super sticky, and it's going to make sure that if somebody starts tugging on the window as they're opening it, or as you're trying to get things to line up and you keep opening the window, that it's not going to fall off or lose its stickiness at all. Because score tape, once you put it down, it's down for good. It's really, really super sticky. I really love that about it. And you can get it in all different kinds of widths, and I love the fact that you can get this little tiny slit of a width to go down the sides of a window like this. I'm going to use the Misty to stamp the image for the inside, and the reason is because I want to get it lined up just perfectly. I'm going to have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece that I'll trim some edges off of, but I want to line it up in this corner perfectly, so I need to have the full size. But I'm kind of generally placing that stamp where I think it's going to go, and then I'm going to take a piece of scratch paper and put it in there and do a test stamping to see if it's going to line up properly inside that window. So I ink it up. Sorry, it's off camera on where the stamp is stuck on the cover. If this were a clear stamp, you could see through it and line it up a little bit easier, but this way I can just test it real quickly to make sure it lines up the way I want it to, and it does. So I'll go ahead and stamp that on my watercolor paper. And when I'm all done, I want to have a little brown frame, I guess, around the outside of that layer when I put it on the inside of the card. So I will trim equally from all sides, and that means the image will remain in the right spot when the card is closed, so it'll still peek through the window correctly. Next, I got out my Kiritake watercolors, and this is my new set. I just got the new one, 36, because I wanted all the colors. I used to have the 24 set, and I may have whined about it here on YouTube about not having the big set. So I went ahead and got it. I was crafting with a friend, and she was saying she didn't have any watercolors, and I thought, you know, she doesn't have any, and I want the bigger set anyway. So it was a good excuse to give her a gift and then be able to go and buy myself the watercolors that I really wanted. So stay tuned for some stuff I want to play. I haven't even touched the golds that are in this, and you know me and gold paints. I have a thing for that, so I'm going to be testing them out and comparing them with some of the other gold paints that are out there and seeing what the differences are and blah blah blah. So stay tuned someday for more information on that, but in the meantime I'm just going to go ahead and paint this image in. And there's not a whole lot of instruction to talk about here. I'm just painting color in here and using more water to make it lighter and less water to make it a darker color. I'm kind of following a little bit of the colors that they provide on the packaging. Art Impressions does a pretty good job of showing you where things should be colored, so if there's ever a line on a stamp and you're not sure what that is, if you look on the packaging, they usually have some sort of an indication of what that, you know, is that a leg? Is that an arm? Here is that a tree? Is that a flower bush? Whatever. So I'm using some of the colors that they indicated on the packaging. But since I'm just painting and you can listen and watch at the same time, I want to admonish everyone to go and change your passwords. This is your reminder to do that, and the reason is because a friend of mine, and some of you may have known about her, because it was, you know, pretty ugly on her social media accounts, that her account got hacked. And she's a crafter, and please don't mention her name in any comments on this, either on YouTube or on my blog, because I don't want the ding-dong hacker to Google her and find out that I'm yammering about him and that sort of thing. But just wanted to remind you to change your passwords. And what we've found out is a good thing to do is to have all of your social media accounts perhaps going through one Gmail account, and your banking done through a different account and that sort of thing, so that you keep things separate. What he did was get into her account through her Comcast email, and then he was able to get into all of her social media accounts. And every time she tried, if she could get in and change the password or change the associated email or something, he would get an email, since he had her Comcast email, and he would get an email saying, "Did you change it?" And he would click the button that said no. So it would all revert back to what it had been. And despite thinking that these companies, both Comcast and the social media companies, would help her to get her account back and to secure it all, they were very not helpful. So she fortunately had a lot of tech resources and tech people to help her out, and she has, secured everything else. It's all locked down, and I think she's good to go now. But this guy he and all of his hacker friends really have no life. They should take up crafting or something that could be a worthwhile endeavor to spend their time on, rather than just being crazy and hacking people's accounts. So I just want to admonish you to go and change your passwords. Make sure you use different emails for different things, and write down what you do so that you remember where to change more passwords. Write down whether or not you have an account with certain companies and which email you used for them. There are apps that you can use to track all of that if you need help with that kind of a thing, but just keep some sort of a system going where you're not at the mercy of hackers if somebody does get into some of your accounts. Because some things that you think may be secure, make sure if they ask you if you'll give them your phone number, usually that's so that they can text you if somebody tries to do this kind of thing. So I've added my phone number to a lot of my accounts just to make sure that I get a text if somebody tries to do something silly. Alrighty, so back to the card. The painting is all done. The panel is added to the inside. You can see the window opens and you can see the image right inside there just perfectly. And it's a super simple card design-wise, even though it took me a little while to get the painting done. And the die cutting was super easy. There's tons of designs they have for these little stamps. There's ones with dogs and with beach houses and different kinds of holiday scenes and scenes from around the world, that kind of stuff. So I'll link to a whole bunch of them in the description down below, as well as on my blog. Get more information. I'm also going to have a little giveaway over there on my blog, so be sure you click on the link in the upper right hand corner to go enter for that. And I will see you guys next time. Here's a couple other art impressions cards that I've done if you want to click on one of those and see them. And I will talk to you guys later. Go change your passwords. If you don't have time right now, do me a favor and set yourself an appointment in your calendar to spend an hour or two changing passwords in the next couple days. All right? Thanks. Stay safe. See you guys later. Bye-bye.